This is Clark Boyd, host of the world's weekly technology podcast. For the past few months, I've been doing regular check-ins with a website called AfriGadget. The site was recently named by Time magazine as one of the 50 coolest websites of 2008. One of the driving forces behind the AfriGadget blog is this guy.
My name's Erik Hersman. I'm the founder of AfriGadget, which is a team blog made up of a bunch of African bloggers around the continent who put in stories about African ingenuity and innovation.
Hersman grew up in Kenya and Sudan. He lives in the States now, but frequently travels back to Africa on business. And wherever he goes, he finds great stories and pictures for the AfriGadget blog. I caught up with him recently, and he wanted to talk junk.
Junk in Africa has a long shelf life. In this case, what you're looking at is Kawangware, which is one of the slum areas around Nairobi. Kawangware is one of those areas where people bring a lot of junk to, and there's a whole business set up to filter that junk.
And sometimes to turn it into art. In this case, sheet metal giraffes. Metalwork, Hersman told me, is a big deal in an area of Nairobi called Gikomba.
In this case, what we're seeing here is a bicycle that has been broken down and then converted into a bellows to basically power their fabrication efforts in this area. He's turning with his hand, and he sits there and does that pretty much all day. Then he works with two other guys, one of which grabs the metal pieces and turns them and allows the other guy, the third gentleman, who stands in that hole so he has a better angle, to basically hammer it. So, that's a three-person team that will make everything from rock chisels to hammers. This is George Odiambo, and he's holding up a old Land Rover shaft that was converted into a stone chisel. It goes for about $10. It costs him about $5 to make.
If you read the AfriGadget blog long enough, you'll also be struck by the interesting collision of low-tech and high-tech in Africa. Take an incident that happened to Hersman in Nairobi, when a bottle of Tusker beer ended up, on his cell phone.
If you don't have a phone in Nairobi, you're pretty much hamstrung. So the next day, I went down to Cell Phone Alley, which is in downtown Nairobi, to fix it. And it cost me about $15 and took about 20 minutes. Edward Mburu is the gentleman who runs the shop. And during that time, he disassembled the phone. He used a liquid, I'm not sure what it was, to actually clean it off. He took it over to another guy who dried it, and then he reassembled and flashed the phone, basically reset it. They can flash about any phone in the world. And yeah, there's my phone. It's all fixed. I didn't lose any phone numbers. They did an excellent job. I can't imagine having this kind of service available here in the U.S.
That's Erik Hersman of the blog AfriGadget talking about his recent trip to Nairobi. You can find more stories of African ingenuity at AfriGadget.com. And for more information on this and other global technology stories, listen in to the World's Technology Podcast. You can find more information on that at theworld.org/technology.